Hey everybody, this is John from Tank Pump Studios with another colorful materials and gradients video. In this video I want to show you the tricks that I use to make these simple mock-ups of Transformers logo and Tron logo as well. And obviously they're not exactly the same, but I made them so quickly that you can do a lot with very little, very quickly. So let me show you what I did. Let's make another Tron logo, and let's use a slightly different font. Now this video is not about fonts, and you can see that these aren't the same font. That's obvious. But still, let's go get a cool font. Font Squirrel is a pretty awesome place. Let's download the TDF of Hammerhead. Let's unzip it and grab one of them and drag them into your assets. From there we're going to make an SDF out of them. Now I'm using Text Mesh Pro, and if you don't have it, it's really awesome and it's free. I'm going to the Font Asset Creator, selecting Hammerhead, and hit Generate Font Atlas. Okay, save it. Close that, and let's make a new Text Mesh Pro and give it some sample text. And then let's set it to use the new Hammerhead Black SDF that we just made. Now that's pretty boring as it is, but just a few changes and it looks pretty awesome. One change is to add an outline. Now it's black so you can't see it real well, but if you add a bevel then you can see it much better. Now notice that the bevel made it darker. That's something that I'll talk about later, and I'll show you a workaround. And we're going to make Tron, so the bevel's pretty thin and it's red. So make the thickness about there. And then let's make it red. But see, it wasn't red on the top. So let's go down to lighting and crank up the specular power. It was white on the top and red on the sides. That's not exact, of course. Let's make it a different red. And you can actually drag a texture in here too. And if you make it white, then the texture shows through. But I'm going to leave it like it was. And then let's go up to the face and let's put a texture here. And like I said in the last video, I was going to use Pixel app for this, but if I'm copying and pasting colors, I kind of need to use something where I can sample a color from the screen, anywhere from the screen. So in Pixelmator, I'll open a new file and make it 1x5 and zoom in on it. And then grab this top color, put that here. Oops, I need to select the pixel brush. Okay, grab the top color, put it there, grab a color around here, put that there, grab another one, finally grab the white at the bottom, and that's some approximation of it. I'll export to a ping and call it ptron2, and then I'm going to copy that to my assets. Now I can just drag it onto the texture 2D there, and it shows up in this. It's pretty nice. It's not perfect, but it's a nice approximation of it. And I would say that the one I did earlier was a little more of an approximation. It went a little darker in the middle. But you can play with those things. It's really fast to do these. Let's change the text to the word Tron, and then, well, that's pretty good right there. However, the colors here were a lot starker, black to white. And here they're a little bit washed out, in my opinion. If we turn the bevel off, they become starker. That's really what I want. So I figured out a trick that I can make two Text Mesh Pros, and I can just duplicate this. I can make one of them without a bevel and one of them with a bevel. So I'm going to make this one be the back. And the trick is that you have to have two SDFs because they will be slightly different configuration. So I'm going to set this back one to be this SDF back, and then I'll change the values. I'll change the back one to have no bevel, and I'll move it back just a little bit, 0.01. And then the front one I'll change to be transparent. There we go. That looks pretty good. So there's obviously a lot more you can do with this approach. I made a Transformers logo and Tron logos. I made it with several fonts. But in either case, it didn't take that long and it looks really good. This isn't the way to get a perfect copy of that logo. This is just a way to make a cool logo, stylized somewhat like those logos, and in a way that you can type whatever you want and do whatever you want with it, and it looks great. Obviously, you can put entirely different textures in here. Oops. And that'll look good too. They'll just be totally different. All the ones we made earlier would work to some degree, and they will all work for their own purposes depending on what you're trying to do. So as you can see, there's lots of options and lots of ways to make it look good. But that's all I wanted to show you for this video. And thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel. As always, comment with your ideas and questions, and like if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this.